Kia ora tātou. Good afternoon. Brendan Hoare here. It's a real pleasure to be with you today at the 4th International Conference on Sustainable Development and Green Technology. Very special for me because Taiwan's a special part of my heart. You can see some of my Mingbao material in the background. Let me just take you, before I start, to a short tour of my office while we're here, before we get started. This is where I work. It's purpose-built. And I'd just like to show you, this is a little display of the products we use and our certified organic farm. Very important for me to be, and as part of our presentation today, to be truly sharing what it is we do. So BioPure New Zealand is our company, and the presentation today is on New Zealand Organics transitioning pathways and experiences, and how we actually go to scale and accelerate uptake. So the vision for our business is for a whole organic eco-nation. It's not just about food. We see this as a whole piece of work to do with social, environmental, and a whole lot of other measurables as described in the SDG program, Sustainable Development Goals, and I'll be talking about that shortly. Our purpose is quite clear. We do consulting and training and advisory work. We also trade. We think this is very important. This is about us enabling our networks and helping small and medium businesses go to markets, both from New Zealand to the world and to the world to New Zealand. And Taiwan is a very special place for us. It is a place where we do trade into fresh fruits and specialized products. We also do research and development. And our business has been pretty instrumental in bringing about some key activities in New Zealand. And we undertake the Organic Market Report for New Zealand for the last 3 years. And I'm right in the middle of doing our one for this year. I'd just like to start really the presentation by indicating that the SDG goals, organic is really part of the solution. And I think this is important. We don't say that we are the solution, but we are part of the solution. We reduce negative impacts and we increase positive impacts. And some of the things that we know that organic has been measured is around, for improvement, is around climate change, about improving biodiversity and life on land and in water. We decrease negative effects in the oceans, and we're responsible for a consumption pattern which is creating a lot of change globally. But also health and well-being and zero waste. Many of these policies are part of organic strategies. And I have this is a very good report, and I have you'll see I have the references there for you. Now, just waiting for this to click through. So here we have the situation, what I call the occasion, and we believe there is a disconnect. We have a disconnect between the human spirit and the wider environment. We have declining biodiversity, and this data, by the way, is out of the 2019 State of the Environment for New Zealand. You'll see that very well recorded, we have declining biodiversity, pollution and water of urban and rural settings. We have farming and fishing degrading the environment, freshwater ecosystems in decline, and high greenhouse gas emissions per capita. So the idea of New Zealand being clean and green is not necessarily the case. And so we have to understand that there is this disconnect about what's going on globally and ourselves, and we want to change that. But at the same time, there's a disconnect. We know that there is a yearning to connect. People want to get back to land. People want to get back to their food. People, this is my experience in the market and in the research that we do, there's a rise of community-led initiatives for local and regional food. It's a very popular piece of market opportunity. For example, we have these cultural festivities. Matariki is a Māori name, and this is celebrating the Māori New Year mid-year festival. And we're bringing back traditional feasts. We have open farms where urban people can reconnect with land and where their food comes from to get a better understanding of the circumstances and situations. And we also have this idea about personal health choices. And young people really enjoy and want to connect with land. So, like everywhere in the world, while I have a personal belief that we're all human, we're all similar, but this is a really important leadership role to unite this diversity. I'm not a great fan of racial diversity. I believe it is cultural diversity. So we have to recognize we're in a diverse community. We have to work to collaborate. It's important that we're transparent, that we allow others in, that we're participative, and that we see what's going on, particularly in the organic space, not just as a production or middle marketing or with the customer, but as a full supply chain. That's what we're looking for. And in New Zealand, we take an approach, it's what's best for us. At the rest of the world, I trust my colleagues in Taiwan to look after what's best for Taiwan. And I know through exchanges like this that we have a lot of synergy, but we have to appreciate the whole. You trust us, what we're doing in New Zealand, and we trust you. But I think one of the most difficult things to do is to align this linked up thinking, this systems integrated thinking. It's hard to find people who really believe and can understand this. So you can see this mosaic approach of accepting diversity, of accepting that we're all in this together, and to celebrate that diversity is very important for our success. Now, we need to measure change. I think this is one of the things that the organic sector has to take a bow on, whether we're being conscious of it or not. The creation of national standards has meant that we, and our certification systems, is that we've been measuring and certifying organics for decades. Okay, we're probably very early adapters of environmental and consumer assurance. Been very instrumental in setting up the Organic Products Bill in New Zealand. And this is a chance for us to really, New Zealand is one of the last countries in the world to do this, but we see it as a measured change. We want it changed, but it requires correct persistence. Organic Products Bill is not, so we're in the early stages of this development. We want to change the name. We want to be able to support development and growth, the SDGs and the growth. We want to include in this bill a governance body so that the organic sector has control over its progress. And we want to establish and ensure we have participatory guarantee systems and cost structures are not exclusive of anybody. Anybody can participate. We have to ensure it prohibits GMOs and that it's not just export oriented. You may appreciate that New Zealand is a very small population. And so we want to make sure that we are also ensuring that the bill has a domestic focus, not just an export one. We've got to get it right. And that's the opportunity we have right now, is to get it right, to grow organic and to move through. This is a program developed by iPhone around 3.0 to shift away from 2.0, which is very focused on standards and regulations and needing global recognition, into a more widespread conversation around true sustainability and inclusiveness. And we want to link agriculture, biodiversity, carbon sequestration, water quality marking. And by doing this, we believe we'll go to scale. Now, there's a flip side to this. Our success in going to scale has created a little bit of problem, and that's around popularity, being popular. There's a clear shift globally for people who are interested and wanting to be a part of organic principles and practices. That's a great thing. That's actually directly aligned with the 3.0 program. And in New Zealand, you will see that regenerative agriculture, particularly in the pastoral sector, is really just capturing, this is what they believe they want it to be. They want to be a partner with nature, protect the soil, increase biodiversity and diversity, and be holistic in nature, and a move away from this. Now, you would say, what's the problem? That's fantastic. The issue is the enthusiasm is really good. We want lots of people coming into the work that we've been doing for decades, but there's an unwillingness to use the word organic. And I'm okay with that. But what we will not tolerate is the putting down of organic in order to raise the other person. So in some senses, some of the language or has been captured. And for example, there's the idea in New Zealand that it's very outcome focused. You can do anything you want, but I can tell you a sort of story that we can protect nature, increase biodiversity, be holistic, and use pesticide and use GMO. And we're saying no way to that. So the one thing that this capture of language, and we've got to be very clear about, there is no market for regenerative agriculture. There is a market for organic, and consumers want third-party assurance. That's organic. That's what we do. So we grow by maintaining integrity. Integrity, when we're building a brand or a story, these are globally recognized brands from different countries. We need to recognize that there's been a lot of hard work undertaken. Yeah, that we need to, a lot of the thinking, a lot of the theory, a lot of the philosophy is decades old. And I draw on that. We conference, like this conference here, is very important. It integrates our thinking. So there are a lot of work's gone into building the brand proposition, the organic brand proposition, and that we really must believe and espouse that we offer measurable solutions and that we can continue to improve on those. And we need to shift away from a more standards focus to this wider adoption. These marks are crucial. They give us integrity. They say that there's been third-party verification, and governments accept that. So we too have to lift our game and play higher with governments. So I use this slide. It's very important. It's another iPhone one, but it helps us understand that organic has been quite niche. We're small. We're very high integrity, but small. So how to go to scale, how we move, is we too have to change. And our change is accepting that others are coming our way. They want to be part of our game. They want to enjoy our party. They want to study and learn what we have. We have to let them in and move far greater into a role of guidance and integrity assurance. So how we do this is not easy. So how do we grow? Here's the growth. Organic, we should all be very proud of ourselves, but be humble at the same time. So we've got consistent growth on double figures year on year to get this sort of graph indicator where we're heading up the graph like that. $70 billion, $90 billion business now. So we have to engage with the national discussion. We have to be very passionate and confident. Got to be clear, decisive leadership. And we have to be able to communicate across the whole sector, from community right through to business and government, free to talk, clearly articulate. And one of the strategies we are using, I've learned from Asia, is the notion of yielding to win. What can we give up? What can we lose a little bit in order to win? And I'm quite happy to yield sometimes in discussions if there is an overall gain. We need to work with partners. Okay, this is a partnership I value very much with Hoare. This is a partnership with Taiwan that's, over 30 years for me. We have to leverage off each other's support. I'm here for you, Taiwan for me, but we've also got groupings. IFOAM Asia, Taiwan needs to stand up and be very proud of the work it did. And I was very humbled to be a part of that in 2006, 7 and 8, when we created IFOAM Asia out of the East Asian Forum. We did that work, bringing uniting strategies. So regional plays are very important. And we need to work with selective international markets to capture value. We've built a relationship with Taiwan with trade, with organic products, very proud of that. Thank you very much, Taiwan. But we also got to create research, teaching and extension alliances. I have a relationship with Hoare University and Sustainability Centre. We also partner up with the US Institute for Entrepreneurial Training, Business Training, and we learn by doing. This is very important, that we're very practical and applied, less theoretical. We shouldn't be afraid of the theory, but we've done decades of that, and it's time to actually learn by doing. By the way, I just will mention this. This is New Zealand's latest national campaign about Made with Care. I love it. It's not a fantastic, well, I've got my concerns about it, but care is one of the principles of the organic principles, the principle of care, ecology, fairness, and the principle of care. And here our national program has developed a combination with care. So I applaud that. It's a great start. We grow by having a low impact on land. This is world population growth. Now, not hard to know, people in Asia know that they've got a very big population base. Oceania, where I'm from, is tiny, but we do have some serious problems ahead of us. So how we measure and monitor impact on land, and through agreed measurement tools, using modern and traditional technology, what are those key indicators we can all agree to? So how do we farm with the growing population? Now, I believe we can do that. I believe it is as much of a political as it is a practical application around food waste, around nutrition, around people having free and easy access to food. Now, some of the benefits. One of the benefits in change and creating change and going to scale is an economic one. It's a very natural human one to react to the priming of purse or an economic incentive. So we know in the marketplace, US is the biggest organic market in the world, that the demand for organic far outstrips the supply. Now, this gap here creates opportunities for fraudulent behavior, and that's why we have regulations to stop that and hold the integrity of organic. But what we do need is swift, smooth transition to regulations to organic to help meet this opportunity and deliver on that. So we need national and regional policies by government that support strategic change and meet climate and SDG goals. I applaud Taiwan for some of its initiatives, very creative. Policy reduction policies for pesticide reduction, and a range of other ideas that can really start to stimulate the market and give us effective support. And we shouldn't, I think that we are wanting to be working for is making sure that there's digital strategies to help us achieve this. This new understanding that we have, new technologies are very helpful. We need to heal the land. So a real benefit that organic provides is an environmental one, and we are part of custodians that need to heal the land, repair soil, and this is this alignment to national metrics. We all need to measure up. We need to understand what we're measuring and how we are successful at that. And we need to support adaptive management to greenhouse gas emissions, GGEs, and move to a far greater true cost accounting model. So our true cost accounting, the true cost of food and polluting industries, we need to be preventative causes to do that. And we need to set realistic targets with support to achieve those. So we know the difference between organic and conventional. Obviously, sometimes there's a drop in yield, but we clearly have an increase in profitability and other really important indices like water pollution, biodiversity increase, more efficient energy use and soil quality. And of course, how we manage a total environment and pesticide residues is obviously, pesticide residues here is very crucial. So we need to be innovative. and we need to be able to adapt to change. Now, these are just 3 images of colleagues I work with in New Zealand. And I'm going to start at the end, is that we're about all scale. Our market report that we do for New Zealand includes community gardens, small family operations, which are economical, and very large scale operations. This man, John Bostock, he's 95% of organic apples, which are exported all over the world, comes from John. So all of these people here are at scale that they feel comfortable, and we need to be inclusive. But we do want to have a continuous improvement based on performance measures. Very big, strong emphasis on this. This is where I think we will be able to demonstrate change and get more influence. And you can't just be saying you're better. You can't say I'm losing weight. I have to stand on the scales and show you that I'm doing that. And our scales need to measure up and be similar. But we also need very clear training. There's just simply not enough help and assistance in training young people right through the market, in marketing, in sales, in trade, and of course, back on the land, getting people the techniques of how to grow organically. We also need to leverage consumer demand. Consumers are wanting to reconnect, remember. They're wanting a relationship back actually with Jenny and her husband. They want a relationship with Levi. He's a young grower. He sells all his product to the cafes, very close proximity to where he lives. He creates a livelihood off a small area of land here. And John connects with his consumers directly too. They all want a relationship with these people and what they do. So we need to develop a long-term transition strategy plan, and it should be apolitical. It shouldn't be between one political party and another. We really need to find people who believe what's best for their country. Now, few would doubt that Taiwan's excellence in the treatment of COVID has been because it's been apolitical. It's been above the politics and delivering on a true outcome that's best for everybody and meeting cultural norms. And congratulations on that. We're very envious of you. So there's also social health benefits of that we really need to capture. And we want to be fit and strong. We want a society that's fit and strong and healthy and flexible. We want to stop degrading land management practices. They need to be phased out. And the health indicators we should also be mindful of. So these are campaigns, just to show you in New Zealand, this is people choosing clean water, swimmable rivers again. Increasingly, New Zealand has fallen behind its own benchmarks. So we have a clean water. We've also got a very strong emphasis on mental health, rural mental health, and urban mental health. People are under stress, the stressful times. There's a lot of change going on. I do really believe that this connection with food and our environment is part of our mental and physical well-being. And people want to be together. You know, the idea of markets, not just the supermarkets, the farmers market. This is an expression of a New Zealand farmers market, very popular. People want to trade and exchange and do something that's ancient of doing business together in an open, free way. Now, my conclusions. To accelerate the transition, we have to recognize that organic is part of the solution in achieving sustainable development goals. We have to truly recognize that organic provides great alignment with the public's desire for clean, safe, toxic-free food. And we are the fastest growing multi-food sector in the world. I just share that any government would understand that, would actually like to favor that and invest more in us and what we do. So organic is seeing governments starting to position it with our supportive legislation and enabling policies. We really have to keep the pressure on and continue to lobby governments to do what we want them to do to improve the situation. But it does require leaders with greater linked up thinking to realize this opportunity. That's you. I'm here with you to support you in that. You are the leaders of Taiwan. You are the leaders that we've all been waiting for to do that work in Taiwan, and I truly appreciate that. But it does require fiscal support across education, training, rural development. We can't keep doing this with small amounts of money. The government needs to understand that it's a direction we're going. We meet multiple goals. We are part of the solution. Thank you. It's great being with you again. With all my friends in Taiwan, take care. 好，再见. I'm very open for questions as well. So I'll be on my device taking the questions post this presentation. Thank you.